Hey, it's Dwayne, the old Indiana farm boy. I'm back on the old Super 55 here. I'm going to run the wires now for the lights. Got the lights ordered from Corvus over there in Waterloo, Illinois. I'll be running the lights on that, so I'm going to get the wires run here. What I've been doing here so far is got the brackets on, but I've got to kind of loosen them up. I decided I'd put a grommet right here in that hole to bring the wire through. I thought that'd give a little more protection. So that's what I'll be doing here, and I'll show you how you do that. Got the grommets. Loosen up the bolts here a little bit. Went over to Real King. They've got some 3/8 wire. Kind of put this on the wire, over the wire to protect it. Keep the mud and the rain and the sludge out of it. I think that should do it. And there we are. This gives you a little more added protection on your wires as they come up for your lights. Corvus said they took the lights out yesterday, so we ought to be getting those the next day or two. Get those installed, and we will have lights. And they also ordered off them the bushings and things to repair this seat. I've already got the suspension rubber back there for it, so that won't be too bad. We'll do that in another video, and we'll get everything tested here. I made up a little auxiliary fuel tank so we can test everything and see how everything goes, and we'll just go from there. Another thing I wanted to show something you too, what we did when I was having trouble with this temperature sender. I was able to get in there with this crow's foot and tighten that up and put that, if you remember, I put a grommet in behind that, and that sealed that off just fine. So now we don't have any leaks there. But this is kind of the tool I got in there with a ratchet and was able to tighten that up. Okay, this is what I got at Real King to run the wires in. It's kind of a protective plastic tubing, split. You can get your wire in that. Run it up through there. Got little clips. We'll run it in. Run the wiring back here. Get some. Kind of protect it there. We'll run it up through behind the fenders here. Make some little clips in there to hold it in place. Goes across here down to the little tab down here, as you'll see here on the axle housing. That comes off. Now to protect the wire there. On both sides we have that. So we'll run a couple wires on each side. One for the back tail light, one for the front light. Tail light over there, and the front light there. This came from Real King. They have it in 1/2 inch and 3/8. I bought the 3/8, 6 feet long. Had to get a couple packages, but should be able to work out pretty well. Hey, it's Dwayne, the old Indiana farm boy. Once again, we're back on the old Super 55, and we got mail. Corvus Oliver Parts has come through once again. There's their name and number, address. Check them out. Today we got the bushings for the Super 55, the repair of the seat. We'd already ordered the rubber seat spring off of them. And we also got the 3 lights, headlights and the rear light here with a switch on it for the rear so you can see what you're doing. You're plowing, also going down the road. I have another light coming, a special rear road light that will go on the back of it here. But we do have the parts now from Corvus over at Waterloo, Illinois. Okay, here we're opening up the package. As you can see, they're packed very well. These are 4 3/4 inch lights. They're ready to set up on those light brackets and run a wire right there to the back of them, and we should be good to go. I'll hook one of these into the brackets there on the back of the, on the front of the trailer or tractor, and we'll see what they look like. You see there, they just have a washer, a lock washer, and a nut, and that nut takes a 3/4 inch wrench, and they're very easy to install. On these brackets, we got quite an adjustment area there. You can run them up and down, whichever way you need them. You can turn them right or left, up and down. Got one mounted on the other side. Very good looking light on there. Of course, once we get her going, we can adjust them out to where we want them. There you can kind of see how they bolt on. I'll get the other front one and the back one on the other side and bring you back. And there we have 3 lights installed. They're not wired in yet. We'll be doing that. I went to the hardware store today and got some more wiring connectors, as well as Tractor Supply. Got some more of the 3/8 tubing to run the wiring in. I originally thought I'd put that backlight on the right side instead of the left side at the rear. But when I got it, I was pleasantly surprised to see that it is a 2-tone. You can see it in there. It's got a white light for when you're plowing in the field at night or doing something at night. And also it's got a red light. You can switch the switch here one way or the other and have a red light for going down the road. With that, and then with the light over here, it looks like we have tail lights. And we will have. So the next adventure here will complete the wiring here on the getting wiring up to these lights. I have got some wiring started there on the side of it there. I got to get it running the tube. Got it hooked into the fuse box up underneath there. So we'll bring the wires back, put them in that tubing, get them wired in, get the little clips right here bent around holding it in place, bring the wire up through our grommet and into the back of the light. It's just a plumbing job of wiring. That'll be our next deal, and then we will pull the seat here off, that bolt there come out, take the seat off, and we'll get to replacing these bushings here that are wallered out. And we'll put the new rubber spring, boot spring here in on it, and that'll make it real nice. Give us a cushion ride instead of just sitting on top of the hydraulics there. And when we sit down, it's just a thud, and there's no give. Okay, I've got the wires now just kind of loosely ran here, or I can put them in the black tubing. Got the wires ran for 3 of the lights. Allowed myself plenty of extra there so I can get them on, get the ends on, and get it wired into the lights. I have to get a little more wire, probably go real key again, get some more of this wire so I can get the backlight there when it comes in. Look, that's coming in from Steiner's parts, tractor parts. They're just kind of running there loosely. Then I will put them in the tubing and get them in place and get them all tightened up where they need to be. Put the little plates over the axle housing here to hold them in place there, as well as some other terminals I have back there so I can put the wires together. Bring you back when I get ready to do that. Here's the wires ran on these 3 lights, and we got mail all the way from Steiner's. I think this should be the other rear tail light. We'll open it up and see what we got. Got it packed in there pretty good. That'd be it. My cow tails and all. We'll get those looking good. Want those to get away. Alrighty. There it is. Red on one side, amber on the other. LEDs. That's a nice light. There's Steiner's information. Steiner Tractor Parts Incorporated. Okay, to make it easier, I'm going to go ahead and remove the seat. Do that, you remove this bolt right here, and that thing should come up out of there, and we'll be able to rebuild that dude. This rubber spring has gone bad. Bushings are wallered out, wore out. Get those fixed, and we'll have us a cushion seat once again. I'll get that bolt out. Okay, got the bolt out. Seat just lifts off now. And there you have it. Just that one bolt holding it there in that cradle. Make it a lot easier. Get it in there, also remove the quick hitch. So I get it in there and make it a lot easier. Hey, it's Dwayne, the old Indiana Farm Boy. We're back on the old Super 55, trying to figure out what we got the problem at here. I can turn the key on, turn the lights on. This side does work. I don't have this one hooked up right now, but it did work. It has to be something in the ground because this is grounded. And when we run a ground wire, these lights come on. I can take a wire, run it here, there, and the lights will come on. So when I painted it, I got a little too much paint in some areas, and so it's not grounding normally down through the axles there like it normally does. So we'll get that figured out and get these 4 lights working, and then I think we can start checking out, making sure the gauges, everything all work again. And we'll rebuild the seat and get that back on it, and we'll have this job done. This little tractor ready to go. Okay, I got the back light hooked back up. This side works great. It's just the ground on the other side. Okay, this is what I got. I removed some of the paint around where the bolts go through. Nuts didn't have a tap big enough to go through there, so I took a 12 gauge wire brush for cleaning gun barrels and cleaned the threads out of there. Polished the paint and everything off of the washers. I was real liberal on the paint on the bolts, as you can see here. So I removed that because when I had this bolt, I took my ohm meter and ran the ohm meter from the bottom of the bolt here that goes through this plate here to hold the fender on, all the way up to the light, and I had 0 resistance. So in theory, if I put this together with all this connection, removing the paint off of both sides, so in theory I should have a ground. And if it doesn't, if I don't have lights, I always wish I had them. And then we'll have to go to plan B and see what we can figure out. Hey, we have success. That's all it was. I was just too liberal on the paint when I primed it and then painted it. It was the ground. I tested it with the ohm meter. Had no resistance once I cleaned the bolts up and the washers and nuts. And now we have lights on all 4 corners. And there's a red light. Okay, we have lights. Good Lord said, let there be light, and he gave us light. Alrighty. Well, that problem solved, and now I just gotta shore up the wires on the other side. These I already have ran in the black tubing. You can see it in there to protect them. So I'll run those side over there in the black wire tubing and to protect the wires and get those pinned up or pinched up where they're not out where they can get caught on something. And we'll have the light situation all taken care of. We have dash lights. So we ought to be in pretty good shape. Tell you what's really been handy. Oliver Corporation knew I was going to be having trouble, so they installed this little workbench here right on top of the muffler. Kind of a heat shield there, but it sure has been handy as a little table to hold my tools and pieces and parts. So I'm glad they did that. Okay, after a little blood, sweat, and tears, we've got lights all the way around. Good deal. Alrighty. And basically, it was just a bad ground. Ground can really mess you up. Alrighty. I did put another ground wire on the alternator here. Get it good and grounded so it can put out some good juice for us. Got to remove this and then put my ground wire back on when I put my gas tank back on. Now we're down to basically the seat. We'll get that on the next one. Hey, thank you for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe, and we'll catch you on the next one. Bye now.